some rather unfortunate, rather disappointing news regarding soccer. So, a lot of soccer fans watching right now, you'll definitely recognize this name. AC Milan's Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He has received an apology from Red Stars club, Belgrade, after there were racial abuse or racial slurs going on. So, I'll tell you exactly what happened. So, Red Star Belgrade, they apologized for the racial slurs that they were referencing towards Zlatan. So the two sides met in the Serbian capital, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic, he's a Swedish national player, and he was a victim of racial slurs when they were using derogatory words used towards Muslims. And there was a statement released, and it says, and I quote, "As a club, we have done everything to ensure that the organization of the match was up to the level of the two big clubs, and we will not allow one primitive individual to cast a stain on the traditionally well-known hospitality of our country and our people. Red Star, in cooperation with the relevant authorities, will find a form aforementioned individual and insist on him bearing all the consequences of much behavior." So basically, what it sounds like to me is they haven't found the individual who was speaking these racial slurs towards Zlatan. But again, this is honestly like, we've seen this stuff many times. We talked about this many times, the race issue regarding, like, whether it's black versus white or whether it's like religion versus religion, whatever it is. We've talked about this many times in this show. So you know what, yeah, I know you're not the type of soccer guy, but I'll let you go first. Your thoughts?
Well, man, it's childish. It really is. Like, why are you going up here and saying this kind of stuff? Like, why? Like, why? Like, why? And this is something that I take personally. And I'm not even saying this to make a Michael Jordan joke. I'm actually being real with you. Like, I'm a man of color, so obviously this is something that I take rather personally. Why are you gonna go out of your way? You all play on the same team. You all play on the same team. You all have the same goal, and this is what you're doing. I mean, I don't know if there's not a lot for me. There's not
Also,
really much for me to say.
let me just correct you real quick. It wasn't his own team. It was the other team's Belgrade. It was
Well,
somebody in the crowd or something like that said something towards Zlatan.
okay, my bad. Yeah, man. I mean, it's unnecessary. It's childish. It's unnecessary, especially in a world where racism is such a huge topic. We're all trying to, come up with social injustice, justice, and all that. That's a big thing in this world right now, And for you, especially if you're a crowd, whether if you're a spectator or a player or whatever, shouldn't be coming out of your mouth no matter what. You feel me? Especially in this day and age where you say that and you're just gonna get absolutely eviscerated from the entire world. Um, I mean, I don't know what else to say, man, other than the fact that it's just childish. It shouldn't have come out of his mouth. I don't know, man. I don't know what else to say. I don't like to talk about these kind of things because, like, it's very personal. I don't like it when people are racist because it's just disgusting, and it's just something that I don't really open much up about. So I'll just give it over to you because there's really not much else for me to say.
Well, before I say anything, I just wanted to say the source for this was ESPN in case anybody's wondering. Yeah, I completely agree with you 100%, Nate. Obviously, like we've seen it a lot in sports. A crowd gets somebody in the crowd gets upset with a player from the other team, and then their emotions get the best of them, and they start saying some really messed up stuff that they shouldn't be saying, and it's inexcusable too. Because as much as we yell at the TV, and like me and you, we yell at the other guy on the TV. You know what I'm saying? We'll never let it resort to like race, or we'll never let it resort to like religion, because that has absolutely nothing to do with it. Like if you're gonna be upset with a player over a dirty play, yeah, I mean, yeah, you can call him an asshole, you can call him, excuse me for my language, you can call him other stuff that we're not gonna say on YouTube, okay? Like you can call him like other, like you know what I'm saying? Like you could get mad at them, or you could say it's a penalty, or you can yell, but I mean, like, I think it is unnecessary to call someone out based on who they are as like a race or a religion, something that they were brought up and grew up in. You know what I'm saying? I just think that's really messed up. Um, yeah. As for Zlatan, I mean, first of all, Zlatan's a very, very good soccer player, and I mean, it's surprising to me because this is a guy who's very respected in the soccer community. Obviously, the soccer community is so broad and wide. It's so broad and wide that they have many different many different leagues. You got the MLS, you got the Premier League, you got the Euro League, you got the Serie A League. You know what I'm saying? You got all these leagues, and Zlatan has done it. I mean, Zlatan has played in most of them. So I mean, this was a guy I thought was really respected around like the soccer community. And I'm shocked because like for them to say these types of racial or I wouldn't want to say it is racial, but in another way, it's more of like a religious slur, because it was referred to as him being Muslim. So the fact that Zlatan, they're using these types of slurs towards somebody as well respected as Zlatan, it proves that like it doesn't matter what your status is, you still they like sometimes you still deal with these types of things, doesn't mean you could be like the most like and that's just not even sports or like that's like all in general. You could be the most popular kid in your school and you can end up experiencing something like this. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's like, how am I supposed to say, nobody's shielded from, like, you know what I'm saying? Anybody can experience these things a certain amount of times. And frankly, it's very disappointing, And it proves like that if somebody like Zlatan can experience something like this, anybody can. And it's really unfortunate, which is why, again, it all comes down to like, it all comes down to like love. No, not everybody doesn't like, respect and love each other no more. And that's what's really like unfortunate about the type of world we live in. You know what I'm saying? People can't sit down and have like a conversation 1v1. People can't resort their differences, settle their differences, want to talk by talking. Nobody can do that. So really, like, it's really disappointing to see. And so I just want people to know, because there's a lot of people who are like, when you're a celebrity making millions and multi-millions of dollars, maybe even billions of dollars, you don't experience these types of things. Well, you're wrong. Okay, because this is a perfect example of it. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who was one of the most respected soccer players in the world right now, was just called a racial slur or a religious slur, depending on which way you want to call it. So don't act like there's certain people that don't have to experience it. You know what I'm saying? There are you know, many people can experience. Anybody can experience something like that. We can't control what other people say and think. What we can control though is what we say and what we think. And the way we act. That's the only thing we can control. We can only control ourselves. And let me tell you something. If everybody can just control themselves and control the way they speak and treat everybody with respect, I'm sorry, but this world will be a better place. But until that happens, unfortunately it stays like that. It's really unfortunate, and it's really unfortunate to see this going on in the world. So I mean, with that being said, I just want to end this by, unless you have anything else to say, Nate, I just want to end this by saying, um, you know, like not me apologizing to him, but I'm really sorry that Zlatan. I'm really sorry that you had to go through this. And I mean, I don't want this to be put on a Red Star, Belgrade, because it was one. I think it was one guy, because they're trying to track down the individual. It was one guy, so I don't want people thinking like, oh, Red Star Belgrade is a bunch of racist people. I don't think they are. I think it was just that one guy. But I am really sorry that Zlatan had to experience that, and hopefully, people really don't experience this, because honestly, racism and like religious slurs, everything like that, like just judging someone for the way they were brought up or the way that they were born, I think it's a really messed up thing. So with that being said, everybody just have some love in your heart and just respect one another. That's it.